Okay, so today we're going to be looking at two ways that you can make um, background images for websites or whatever you want to use them for that have this sort of jagged um, watercolor effect. This is going to be the first one. Um, and then the second way that you can do it is if you wanted to have something like this, um, where the whole thing is surrounded by an edge like that and sort of appears within a watercolor type of ink blot. So the first thing you'll need to do is go and get your brushes for Photoshop. And there are a few different places you can do that. One of the places that I like to go is to Creative Market. And for these images, I used this particular set of Photoshop brushes. Once you've bought those and installed them in Photoshop, then you can pick out the image that you want to use. In this case, I grabbed this picture of some trees and fog. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is change this from background to an editable layer by just double clicking on that. So now we've got our layer. And let's say we want to use this as our hero image or any image where we just want to have the bottom cut off. I'm going to go to my eraser tool, and then if you click the little drop down here, you can select from all your different brushes. So in this case, here are my watercolor brushes, and then you can see all the different brushes that you've got there. So what we're going to be doing is using this tool. Let's adjust the size of it, make it a little bit smaller. So you can see sort of the preview of it. So then I'm just going to go ahead and erase that using my eraser. And what you'll notice is some of these brushes will leave behind a little bit of a remnant. So this is when we usually switch from my pen tablet to the mouse. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click once and then click again. And then you can do a third time if you want it to be really sharp. So that's basically how you create that edge. I'll generally mix it up a little bit, and I'll pick one of these to start with, and then I'll use a few different brushes. So you can also rotate the brush if you want. So like I used it once regularly there. Now let's say I could just rotate it a little bit and use it for this edge. Like that. And then we'll grab another one. rotate this one. There we go. And now we've got a nice jagged edge there. Now, of course, you probably don't want to have it look cut off. You may want to keep some of that faded remnant in there, but not have it be completely cut off. So what you could do is you could go in back to your eraser tool and just go to your general brushes, and we'll go to a soft round brush. And make that a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to kind of try to fade this out along the bottom here. So that's sort of the quick and dirty version of that. And then you can export that either as a PNG or as a JPEG. But there's the full size. So that's what you'll end up with. Now in the second example, what we'll look at is how to take this image and make it appear as the fill within an ink blot. So again, we're going to take our background and create an editable layer out of that by double clicking on this layer here. Then what you want to do is create a new layer. Okay. And now I'm going to go to my paintbrush. And again, just like with the eraser, we're going to go into the paintbrush. You'll select your watercolor stamp and decide what you want to use. Find one that will make a nice ink blot for you. Let's see. Let's find a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to rotate this brush so that we can use this as a background image for like a half screen. And now what I'll do is click once. Oops. Let's move that over a little bit. There we go. And then you're going to want to click again so you get nice coverage out of it. Okay. Now let's put that layer underneath our image layer, and then select both of those layers right there, and then hit Command G on a Mac or Control G on a PC to group those together. Now what you're going to do is select that top layer and just right click on it and select Create Clipping Mask. And now you can see that it's clipped that within the boundaries of the ink blot. Now, because we don't necessarily want to see all of the ink blot here, we're going to need to darken this. So easy way to do that is just grab your brush tool again, and we'll go and use we'll use a round brush. So this is a soft round brush, and we'll make this a little bit smaller so it's easier to work with. Okay. And then make sure you select your bottom layer. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to paint over the areas that we want to be more visible. So you can see as I'm painting over this, those areas will show up. There you go. And now you're ready to export this as a PNG or as a JPEG, whatever you want. And you've got your nice watercolor ink blot background there. That's really all there is to it. Hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.